Am I the a-hole for disowning my adult daughter after she called the police with false allegations? My adult daughter has a history of depression and had a troubled life that included drug use when she lived with her mom. Her mom was a brief fling of mine and later became an addict and alcoholic. It got so bad that the court sent my daughter to live with me and my other children. Her trauma and upbringing severely impaired her ability to bond with us. She was deceitful, used drugs, ran away twice, and ended up in mental hospitals. None of us have ever used. I drink socially. I was strict but fair, joined her in therapy sessions, even signed up for my own therapy to improve my parenting. I fully supported her in sports, was emotionally there when she was down, sad, or upset, taught her honesty and integrity, and helped her get sober. Once she reached adulthood, I thought she was on a better path. Good grades, a college plan, a part-time job, etc. Then she met a boy who also came from an addict mom. She erratically moved out with 2 trash bags worth of clothes. I saw this from my street and tried convincing her to stay. She dialed 911 and falsely accused me of hitting her to get a quick police response. When 8 officers arrived, they investigated, saw no signs of violence, and her account cleared me. Thankfully, she told the truth. A neighbor's Ring camera also caught the incident, which would have cleared me regardless. I have never hit her in my life. She left, immediately went to an underage boy's house, stayed for a month, and then his dad asked her to move out. She was homeless for a while, and I recently heard she's now in a shared apartment, still working the same 15-hour-a-week minimum wage job. She's depleted her savings on essentials and their drug habits. According to her, this boy is autistic and slow and has emotional issues. According to her friends, he's a drug addict, unemployed, controlling, still a minor, and rumored to have an untreated STD. His ex-girlfriend told several people, including my daughter, as a courtesy. She's in denial, but without screening or treatment, that may come back to haunt her. My daughter is now an addict too, going from weed and alcohol to harder substances such as ecstasy and Schedule I stimulants or opioids. Most of her friends have distanced themselves from her, but what little I do know comes from what she's shared or what others have seen. My other children disowned her immediately and want nothing to do with her. My other daughter said she never really fit in with us, always made bad choices, and concluded she doesn't have a sister. My son was closer to her, knew the troubled boy she left with before she did, and warned her to stay away. My parents were about to gift her $5,000 in cash for college, but since she left and went no contact, they changed their minds. I was about to buy her a new car. Now that too has changed. I finally followed the rest of my family's lead and concluded I have one less daughter. She's disinherited. Her portion of my estate will be divided among my other children. Am I wrong for circling the wagons to protect my healthy kids? She falsely accused my son of assault once. Video surveillance cleared him, but without that video, I might have believed her. Based on what she's already done, it's just too risky to welcome an addict with mental illness back into our home. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The situation absolutely sucks all the way around. You owe it to your other children to protect them. Hopefully your daughter will find her way back onto a better path at some point. Thank you. Yes, it didn't have to end this way. Every morning, a hug, a how'd you sleep. I love you. What do you have planned for today? Lunch and dinner always made. Breakfast she had to make herself. She could confide in me about anything, no matter how hard it was to hear. Sadly, her mom blazed a path for her, and she's now going down the same road. Not the a-hole. You have to protect yourself. She tried to ruin your life on a whim. Never allow her into your life or be alone with her again. That's exactly what my ex-wife told me. She said if I ever do allow her back, she'll burn me for her next high. It sucks, but even if you put your whole home and family on the line to help her now, all it will do is postpone her from hitting her rock bottom. I don't think it would be wise to even give her a ride somewhere. You can't be alone with her, and you can't give her anything of value because she'll just sell it. The best you can do is offer information for rehab and sober living, because that would be her best next step. She will likely not be interested in that until she runs out of other options. I'd talk with your wife, decide what you'd be willing to provide, and just let your daughter know what that is and to call you when she's ready. If she's still on your medical insurance, find out what she could get from there, exactly when it will expire, and let her know that too. Thank you. Yes, she is still insured until next year. It's good coverage, no copays, but still. She stopped taking her psych meds. Her psychiatrist called me. Stopped therapy a week after leaving and is unraveling. I sent her an email via her therapist the day after she left, with all the info she needs. Phone numbers, plan info, resources, and I left her insurance card and important records in a box at her work. I cannot be alone with her given what happened last time. I warned my son not to seek her out either. He fully understood and immediately disowned her when I told him about her erratic behavior the day she left. Next story. Am I the a-hole for attending my ex's wedding with our kids he abandoned? My ex-husband, 36 male, and I, 34 female, divorced 6 years ago. It was messy. We were young, impulsive, and he was chasing a lifestyle I couldn't keep up with. Partying, status, image. When I got pregnant, he panicked, said he wasn't ready to be a dad, and walked away. I never took him to court. I just raised our twins, 6 male and 6 female alone. He never met them, never asked. I moved cities, built a quiet life, and let go of the anger for the most part. A few months ago, I got a wedding invitation from him. It was handwritten, "Would love for you to come. No hard feelings. Hope you're doing well." I was stunned. We hadn't spoken in years. I found out later he'd told people we split because I couldn't handle his ambition, that I was clingy and dramatic. No mention of the kids. I wasn't planning to go, but something in me snapped. Maybe it was petty. Maybe it was protective. I RSVP'd yes and brought our children with me. I didn't make a scene. I dressed them nicely. We sat quietly in the back, but when he saw us, his face drained. His fiancée looked confused. His mother, who had begged me years ago to keep the kids quiet, looked like she'd seen a ghost. After the ceremony, he pulled me aside and asked why I came. I said, "You invited me. I thought you wanted to show off, so I brought the most beautiful thing you ever made." He didn't speak, just stared at the twins, who were holding hands and looking around like it was a fairy tale. Now mutual friends are saying I ruined his wedding, that I was vindictive, and that I should have let him have his day. Was I the a-hole for showing up with the truth he's been running from? Not the a-hole. He invited you. You brought reality. If that ruined his day, that's on him. You didn't ruin his wedding. You reminded him of the life he chose to abandon. Showed everyone else too. Wonder how the bride reacted to knowing that he had 2 kids he never told her about, and that he had abandoned. She just met the reality of the guy she just married. He got what he asked you for. His shame is his own. You're honestly legendary in my opinion, because you still protected you and your kids' peace. Not the a-hole. Right? He invited her into his fantasy. She just brought reality. Sounds like a much-needed wake-up call. Not the a-hole all the way. He wanted OP to see what she lost out on. Well, the tables turned, and he, his wife, family, and friends saw exactly what he walked out on like a coward. 2 beautiful children. Now his new bride is stuck with a deadbeat who has never contributed a thing to his children's lives. Good luck to her. It will be interesting to see if she tries to make him do the right thing, like 6 years of child support. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to adopt my stepdaughter? I'm 30 female. My husband is 34 male, and my stepdaughter is 12. Her mom passed away when she was 2, and I came into her life when she was 8. We have what I'd consider a normal step-parent relationship. She doesn't call me mom, and that's fine. I want her to be comfortable. A few weeks ago, she started asking if I would adopt her. Apparently, she had already talked to my husband, and he told her it would be a good idea to ask me. I told her I'd think about it. Later, I asked my husband why he thought it was a good idea, and he said it would make her feel like part of the family and prevent her from feeling different from the baby we're expecting. I told him that, if that's the concern, she should talk to her therapist about it before the baby arrives. He then asked why I didn't want to adopt her. I explained that she and I aren't on that level yet. She doesn't see me as her mom. More like a bonus adult she can come to if needed. I'm fine with that, but adoption would legally make me her mother. And if she doesn't feel that way toward me, I'm not sure it's the right time. When I told her I wasn't ready to adopt her right now, she cried and asked why. I told her that if we grew closer in the future, I'd consider it. But I think she needs to fully understand what adoption means first. She told her maternal grandmother, who said it was disrespectful of my husband to even suggest it. His side of the family thinks I should just do it to make her feel included. The main reason I'm hesitant is that I don't think she's asking for the right reasons. I believe she's asking because she doesn't want to feel left out, not because she truly wants me to be her mom. She already has other strong mother figures, her grandmother and aunt, who have done a lot of motherly things for her. When I say she doesn't treat me like a mom, I mean for certain mother-daughter experiences, she goes to them instead. For example, if she were old enough to go wedding dress shopping, I know she'd choose her aunt and grandma. There's nothing wrong with that. She's not my biological daughter, but if she were, I'd expect her to come to me for those moments. Some people have told me feeling left out is a valid reason for adoption, but I disagree. For example, last year she felt left out because we spent Christmas with my family while she was with her mom's side. We solved it by alternating holidays, and she was happy. Adoption wouldn't have fixed that. It would have been a band-aid over the real issue. I'd rather address why she feels excluded than adopt her only for her to still feel that way. I also assume that if I adopted her, she might start calling me mom, but it would be okay if she didn't. And to be clear, I didn't say never. I said not right now. Maybe when she's older, around 15 to 20, and our relationship is stronger, I'll be ready. We're already planning more family therapy sessions, and she's in individual therapy as well. So that's where things stand. I love her, but I think this is something to revisit when she's older and understands it fully. For now, I'm focusing on strengthening our bond without rushing into a legal decision she might not be ready for either. Now for the top comments. Agree with grandmother. This should have been discussed with all adults before she was told to go and ask you. And since OP can't control what her husband does or change the crappy way he handled it, she should have had a talk with his stepdaughter about why she wants this and what she is hoping for in the situation. It looks like OP did a lot of assuming without actually speaking to the stepdaughter, which is always a recipe for disaster. It's possible the stepdaughter genuinely wants to have a mother-daughter relationship with his stepmom, but is worried about rejection or that the stepmom doesn't view her that way. This fear would be amplified by the new baby on the way, a real child for the stepmom. A fear OP accidentally just confirmed, whether intentional or not. And how did the discussion between the husband and stepdaughter come about? Did the husband recommend it out of the blue, or was the stepdaughter talking to him about something? Everyone sucks here, between OP and her husband. I think she's asking because she doesn't want to feel left out. Wanting to be on equal standing in your family is an incredibly valid reason. She's 12. She looks up to you. Think very carefully about what happens next. This over and over. I am confused by all adults in this story. How do these people have children? And it sounds like the OP is pregnant? Of course, the 12-year-old is feeling very insecure. The OP is saying she doesn't feel like the kid's mom and is a bonus adult, but when the kid asks her to be the mom, she keeps that distance in play. That was the perfect moment to pivot and be the kid's mom. This kid is going to remember this as a rejection for the rest of her life. The way OP is acting like it's a 12-year-old girl's job to take care of her feelings, make her feel special in some particular type of way, is emotional abuse. That is not a child's job. What the child needs is consistent, capable adults who commit to being in their life regardless. Making the adoption conditional on some nebulous vibe or emotional need OP expects a child to fill for her is the kind of thing this poor girl will be dealing with for her whole life after this. If you want her to treat you like a mom, you have to act like one. OP lacks the emotional maturity to do so, and you can already see how she'll rank her next to a new biological child. So heartbreaking and infuriating. Not to mention, adoption would take care of any issues if dad dies or becomes incapacitated. It's not just to make the child feel good for Pete's sake. Last story. Am I the a-hole for storming out of my dad's wedding because he mentioned my brother and sister and his stepdaughters but not me? I, 16 male, am adopted. My siblings are my parents' biological kids. They're 13 and 11. 7 years ago, my parents divorced. It was never explained why, but I always noticed that Dad was bitter toward Mom, while Mom hid how she felt really well. I did hear a fight between them once, where she called him a POS who didn't deserve his kids. At the time it didn't make sense, but it makes more sense now. My dad got remarried a month ago. His wife has 2 daughters, 5 and 6, with her first husband who died. When everyone was eating, Dad got up and started to make this long speech about how happy he was with his wife and how blessed they were with their family. He called her an amazing mom and woman and all that fluffy stuff. Then he thanked her daughters for being amazing and told them he couldn't wait to be their dad for real and how much he already loved them. Then he thanked his kids but only named my brother and sister. He didn't say a single thing about me. He gushed about my siblings, about his wife's girls. Then he told everyone how the family, and named everyone except me, was starting fresh from that day forward. How they were lucky to have such great kids. His speech wasn't over before I stormed out of the wedding. I called Mom and told her I needed her to come pick me up and not ask questions because I just needed her. My brother followed me out, and so did some of Dad's family. My brother asked me if I was okay. The rest of the family asked why I made a scene, and when I pointed out the speech, they said it was an oversight, and I was included every time he said kids. And so what if he left out my name? It wasn't the end of the world. I told them it was only my name. My brother tried to say something to Dad's family, but they told him to go back inside and celebrate, and not to make more of a scene at the wedding. They tried to make me go back in too, but I told them I was going home with Mom. When I told Mom what happened, I got so upset. She did her best to calm me down and distract me. It was a few days later when she talked to me about what happened more. I told her missing my name once in that speech was maybe understandable, but he wrote a long-ass book and still didn't mention my name. I told her he couldn't have made it clearer that I'm not his real kid. She told me she was so sorry. I mentioned what I heard before, and she told me the biggest reason they divorced is he wanted to give me up because they had their own kids. But he fought for me in the divorce with my siblings, so she hoped he'd grow eventually. I said he probably just didn't want to pay child support. I've heard nothing from Dad since. His family has tried to yell at me for making a scene at the wedding, but Mom shut them down. My siblings still go to his house, but he doesn't ask about me or seem to care that I don't go with them. And even with that, his family still wants to say I'm the a-hole, which pisses me off but makes me doubt myself. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Dude doesn't care about you. He never saw you as his son. Just don't have any relationship with him. Nothing more really. That freaking hurts too. I used to see people talk about being adopted, and they were regretted once their adoptive parents had their own kids, and I never thought it would be me. But it was, and I had no idea for so many years. It sounds like you were always your mom's child, even after she had her bio kids. Not the a-hole. He made it clear that you're not his kid, so act as such. It hits and it sucks. And I know the feelings that come with being adopted as I am too. It sucks so freaking much. I'm glad that Mom loves me the same and would fight for me. Yes, I'm glad she loves you. Hold on to the relationship with your mom.